Hello, my friends. So we're doing Bible study today on Proverbs 5, 6, and 7. I was training my dog right before I came and did this. So I'm going to put that down. Don't need to hold that. I would talk with it the whole time. Anyway. So Proverbs 5, 6, and 7 today. And there's just a few little things. I try really hard not to talk supersonic fast, but there's so much that I want to say, but I also don't want to bore you guys and make you think that all I want to do is talk about the things that I think are cool. That's no. All right, so we're going to go fast. Proverbs 5, 6, and 7, it is all warnings. The entire thing is a warning. And so as humans, we tend not to heed to warnings very well. We don't like them. And we're like, that's nice. So we're really, we're grateful that that's there. But then, speed limits, let's be real. Who's oh, that's a warning that I can go, in a 45, I can go 50. So you don't actually heed to the speed limit sign. You don't actually heed that warning that it could be dangerous if you go at all above it. We're not very good heeders of warnings. And so in chapter 7, we'll start there. Starting in verse 7, Solomon talks about a story. Now, we know a lot about Solomon. He had a lot of wives. He had a lot of concubines. He was into the women. And he had some problems. And so he says, I think it's funny because I feel like how when we say, I'm asking for a friend, people are like, are you the friend? So I feel that way with Solomon a little bit right here in chapter 7, verse 7. And it said, and I have beheld among the simple ones, I discerned among the youths a young man void of understanding, passing through the street near her corner. And he went the way to her house in the twilight, in the evening, in the black and dark night. And behold, there met him a woman with the attire of a harlot and subtle of heart. She is loud and stubborn. Her feet abide not in her house. Now is she without, now in the streets, and lieth in wait at every corner. So she caught him and kissed him, and with an impudent face said unto him, I have peace offerings with me. This day have I paid my vows. Therefore came I forth to meet thee, diligently to seek thy face, and I have found thee. I have decked my bed with coverings of tapestry, with carved works, with fine linen of Egypt. I have perfumed my bed with myrrh, aloes, and cinnamon. Come, let us take our fill of love. Until the morning, let us solace ourselves with the loves, for the goodman is not at home. He has gone on a long journey. He hath taken a bag of money with him, and will come home at the day appointed. With her much fair speech she caused him to yield. With the flattering of her lips she forced him. He goeth after her straightway, as an ox goeth to the slaughter. I say that I'm calling Solomon out a little bit because if this wasn't him, then how did he know that she was loud and stubborn? And then how did he know all of the happenings and every little intimate detail of what she said to him? I'm just calling him out a little. I'm just saying, I have no divine revelation of this. I think that he was so a friend of mine, fill in the blank there. So anyway, so we can say it was Solomon. It doesn't have to be Solomon, whatever you think, whatever you interpret this as. So anyway, that's where we are. This mostly will center around chapter 7, right around there. But Solomon, he's using an experience that he saw, whether he was a part of the experience or not. And there's a big issue. There's two specifically big issues, but we also see them today. And so I just want to bring them out and touch on them real fast. And then I think I'm actually going to do a second video on the rest of it because I've already filmed this once and it was 30 minutes long. And I don't want to do that again. So I might put the second video up tomorrow or something. But there's just two things I want to touch on. The first thing is this. In chapter 7, verse 14, we see it says, I have peace offerings with me. This day have I paid my vows. Okay. So she's talking about, most likely in my opinion, she's talking about paying her peace offerings at the temple and paying her vows at the temple. Those are things that people would have done in this day, and sin offerings and saying, like, I've made my peace with God, here's a couple turtle doves or a lamb or a goat or whatever. And so she is telling this man, she's trying to seduce him, to woo him, to lure him in, and she tells him, hey, I've already paid up, so we can do whatever we want, and then I'll pay up again. Like, I have the peace offerings with me, so we'll just run down to the temple after we're done here, and we'll pay our offerings, and we'll be good with the Lord, and all will be well. That is not how Christianity works. We see it here, we see it today. I see it all the time, and it frustrates me because we abuse the system of grace by saying, and I'm not talking about like if you mess up. I'm not talking about if you slip up, if you're like, oh man, I sinned and now I need repentance. I'm talking about premeditated, like here we see saying, I'm going to live this way, but I'll go to church on Sunday morning and get in the altar and pray. Or I'm going to live this way, but I'll go on to small group, or I'm going to live this way, but I'm going to, I'm really going to ask forgiveness afterwards. That is not how Christianity works in any way, shape, or form. That is not how salvation works. That is not how grace works. Paul talks about that and says, to receive more grace, should I sin more? God forbid, because that is not how this works. That is just abusing the system of grace. Not that grace is a system, but that's just coming out. So that is just abusing grace, the grace that God has given us as a free gift. So, and that is there, like in Solomon's time, we see that. And then the other thing that I wanted to touch on really, really fast is in chapter 7 again. My dog is in my face. You want to come on camera? Anyway, chapter 7, verse 8 says, passing through the street near her corner, and he went the way to her house. Passing through implies he had a destination. He had purpose somewhere else. He was walking the street in order to get somewhere. But instead, he passed the street near her. He went by her. We have a destination. We have a purpose. We have somewhere we're going. We have somebody to get to. We have a life that we're living. We have purpose at our destination. We have a race that we're running. And the first mistake that this man made was he passed through her street. He walked through her street near her corner. So my encouragement is this. Like I said, we have a race to run. We're doing something. We're doing something for the Lord. We're all striving. To be in this race, just to run the race that's set before us. Don't get distracted, and don't walk on the streets with your temptations. Do not, we talk a lot about, especially I remember as a teenager being told a lot, like, here's the line of sin. Like, don't get as close as you can to the line. You need to stay as far back as possible. Resist the devil and he will flee from you. Resist. That means to get back. Do not stand right here and get all up in the devil's face and be like, come at me, bro. See if you can do something, because he can. Not that he has more power than us when we have the Lord abiding in us, but the Lord abiding in us tells us, resist the devil, get back, don't flirt with the line of sin. So that's what my encouragement today is to pass through the street. Don't even get on the street. Don't even get on the same street as your temptations. Your temptations can overpower you easily if you're just flirting with them. They can overpower you easily if you decide, well, I'm not going to do that, or I'm not going to not do that. I'm just going to prance by it. I'm just going to look. I'm just going to, whatever. And I'm just going to see. I just see. And then before you know it, and it doesn't take much for us humans. We're so gullible. This man bowed to this woman because she had, what does it say? Myrrh, aloe, and cinnamon smelling sheets. It just doesn't take much. She had Egyptian linen. It doesn't take much. In the scheme of things, does Egyptian linen matter? I mean, now I will say we have some Egyptian sheets on our bed and them are comfy, but does it really matter in the scheme of things? I mean, one day the earth is going to pass away and it doesn't matter, but like in those moments, you think it's the entire world. You think it does matter. And so we're so gullible. And I just, we could probably kind of laugh at this and be like, oh, he was kind of an idiot. But no, I mean, we all are like this. We could all be in these shoes. And of course, taking this and translating it, not into just adultery and into this specific situation, but instead, into any sin. In James 4, at the beginning, I think verse 1, he calls the church, people in the church, adulterers and adulteresses. And it's like, y'all need to fix yourself, because if you're a friend of this world, you're an adulterer to God. And so that's what I correlate that with, is that if we're a friend of the world, if we hold on to the world even a little bit and we start passing through the streets of the world, we're not a friend of God. We can't be a friend of the world and a friend of God. So anyway, those are my 2 thoughts today. Like I said, I think I'm gonna make the other video tomorrow, so there'll be like probably 2 10-minute videos, which is a little better in my opinion than an entire 30-minute video. But yes, I just wanted to put this out there, and I'm excited about what the Lord's doing. Thank you so much to those of you who are connecting on Facebook and on Instagram and things like that. I can't wait to see what the Lord is gonna do. On Monday, we are gonna be in chapter 8, because we did 5, 6, and 7 today, which we really only did 7. But the reason, we will do a little bit of 6 and a little bit of 5 in the next video, but the reason is because they were all warnings. They were all in the same category, and so I kind of wanted to clump them together, because the warning part, I feel like I would have repeated myself a lot about how warnings and humans and warnings and humans and, so, and I didn't want to do that to you guys, so I just clumped them all together, and we're just talking about warnings today and then probably tomorrow. So stay tuned for that, and then join us on Monday, chapter 8, and I have a reading plan up that you can complete by Monday, or you can wait and do it later, or you can just read all of chapter 8 because it's not that long, or whatever you want to do. So, but it's up on Facebook, on Instagram. So anyway, thanks for joining me today. I just hope you guys have a great weekend, and we'll see you later.